So we're going to be looking at line substrings, and this is part of the string class. So if we make a string like this, and we're going to call it line, and we set it equal to a string of our choice, we can just type in here any text that we want. For example, I'm just going to use numbers, and this will make sense later. Since it's in here, it is a string, and this is what I'll pass in, like this. Now, if I only wanted a certain number of these numbers or a certain indexes, I can actually get those specific indexes from this line without doing anything to it. So what I need to do is call my line, do a dot, and all of these different things pop up. So these are all the different things that we have access to, and it's actually a really long list. But if we start typing in here, we do dot substring like this, we are given two options right here. First, we have a substring with a beginning index and only, and then we have this substring with a beginning index and an ending index. If we have the substring with a beginning index only, this will run from wherever we start the index to the total end of the string. And it gives a good example in here, but we're still going to do this. So if we do this substring where we only have the beginning index and we have 0 as our index, it's going to print out from 1 all the way to 15. So to prove this, we'll do sysout and we'll do line like this. In fact, since this is a string method, we can actually paste this in this sysout statement like this. If we run it, we can see that we get our string. However, we didn't really do anything because right before it, if we just print out the line, it's going to print out the exact same thing since both of our indexes are starting at 0. However, if we started at the index 5, and to keep this consistent, I'll just put a 0 out front like this. If we wanted to start at the 5th index and not at the 0th index, we would type in 5, we would run it, and we would get like this. If we wanted to do something more alphabetical, because I guess numbers can be quite confusing, we can do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, like this. And if we can call this line 2. And if we wanted to print out our line 2, I'm just going to add a new line in here. That way we get the spacing. But if we wanted to print out this line 2, like this, we would do so, like this, and we would get the whole line. However, if we only wanted everything after E, we would do a sysout and then counter indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We notice E is at our 4th index, so we're going to start it at index 4. If we run this, we can, we need to do not just 4, otherwise it'll just print out 4. We need to do line 2 dot substring and then type the 4th index, and if we do this, we print out everything after E. So we're calling our line and we're using the substring method with it. Now, for this next part, I'll add a new line here as well, just for spacing. For this next part, we can have line 2 dot, and then we'll do substring again, except this time we are going to have a beginning index and an ending index. So if we have both indexes at 0 like this, nothing will happen because it's going from 0 index, but it's not going any further than this. Because this first number, same thing for this one, this first number, it gets the very first index. However, this last index right here, it does not get. It goes up to, but does not touch the last index. So if we were to run this like this, we get nothing here. And if we were to run it from 0 to 1, we would just get the 0th index, and it would go to the first index, but it would not print out the first index. So if we run this, we're just going to get A. So it gets the 0th index, and it looks at the first index, but it does not touch it, and that is how substrings work. We can do multiple different things with this. We can put these in for loops to get specific characters, or to have specific sentences, specific lines. So this is very useful, and the practice it exercises 6.9 and 6.10 are very helpful, explaining and showing what we can do with this and how we can use this with files actually to get specific lines or blocks of statements or strings from these specific files. So we can really use any integer, and we're just going to get the string within this string. We can see that though, after we do all of this, if we just sys out line like this, it's going to print out the same line. So we don't actually touch this. We make a copy of it and we manipulate it in here. We don't actually mess with this original code or this original string. So if we ever wanted to print out the original string again later in our code, we can print it out just like this, no problem, without any defects to it because of these lines. That is how to use the substring method.